Hello, my fellow fanatical elves. This is the Oracle Speaks. I am the Village Elliot. I'm going to tell you about the past, present, and future of the Cleveland Browns, and really the near future of the Cleveland Browns. I've got Flacco fever. I still have Flacco fever from last year. We had COVID a couple years ago, but I've got Flacco fever. I've got Flacco fever. You have Flacco fever? I sure do. I'm a true believer because I got Flacco fever. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me talk about that a little bit. Flacco fever may not have a true cure. We may have to do something about that. We may have to make an offer to Joe Flacco. I have a little presentation about that. We'll talk about at length what the Browns should do about Joe Flacco. Should they give him all the money that he wants, no matter what he wants? Is he that good? Does he have that much leverage? Let's see if we can adjust the sound here a little bit, and I think that'll probably sound a little bit better. And let's see about the sound here, the visuals. Okay, for those who have video. Yeah, I think the Browns should make an offer to more than one number 2 quarterback. I think Flacco will certainly be the favorite, but they also need to have a second choice. Otherwise, Flacco might have just too much leverage, and the Browns may have to make a decision. So I think they should consider Joshua Dobbs as also an equally or almost equally viable candidate for the number 2 position. You can't have everything you want, no matter what the cost may be. And one of the concerns that I have, first of all, there is no possible way that Joe Flacco is going to beat out Deshaun Watson for the number 1 job. We can't have a $200 million man as the number 2 quarterback because the Browns still owe Deshaun Watson $200 million, regardless of whether you like it or not. That's just the way that it is. But Deshaun Watson does have some injury questions that beg for us to obtain the best second-string quarterback that we can. He had shoulder surgery. That's not good. And he's always been operating on 2 ACL surgeries, one on the left knee, one on the right. He's going to be 29 this year. So, oh, good. He's not 30 years old, but still, for a quarterback, 29 years old is not that old, but he is a running quarterback. And, there's a cliche that we don't really want to see the quarterback run too much as he gets older. In Houston, he had great success with the triple option, which you would usually start with a handoff or RPO, run pass option. And then he would switch to being able to either throw a screen pass or a downfield pass or keep the ball and run. That's the way a lot of his plays were called, with Coach O'Brien designing that offense for him. I don't think O'Brien was a really good general manager, but I do think he was a great offensive mind, and it worked very well over in Houston. So can we count on Deshaun to be an Iron Man? Well, I hope that he is, but I don't know that he is. And in fact, no quarterback can be assured of playing all 17 games plus 4 more playoff games. You have to have a backup quarterback in today's game. And really, you need to have more than 1 backup. I think you really have to have 3. And also, you need to have somebody on the practice squad also ready to step in case of an emergency. So maybe backup quarterbacks are not as worthless as we think. Cleveland especially stigmatizes the backup quarterback. I think it really dates back to when Vinny Testaverde was named the starter over Bernie Kosar. That kind of hurt everybody's feelings all the way around, and we kind of thought that the backup quarterback is like an insurrectionist trying to overthrow our king. And we just never really trusted backup quarterbacks after that point, in my opinion. So what is everybody's plan? Everybody, you, me, the media, the front office of the Cleveland Browns, everybody wants to sign Joe Flacco. I don't think there's any question about it. There will be some sort of offer made to Joe Flacco. He was Mr. 300 yards. All you have to do is get him out on the field, and he was good for 300 yards last year. It was really amazing. He picked up the Browns offense instantly. I didn't think that that was possible, to be honest, that a guy could be out of football for a year, come in with 1 week's worth of practice and throw for 300 yards. I really am amazed at what he was able to do. So this is a no-brainer. He needs to have an offer. Now, whether it can be an unlimited offer for any amount of money, that I would have to question. The Browns don't have unlimited resources like they did maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Also, we have to consider his age. He's 39 years old. He's 10 years older than Deshaun Watson. He also wasn't completely perfect. He threw 3 untimely pick sixes that resulted in Browns losses. That, of course, may be attributable to the fact that he didn't have adequate preparation in training camp. Nevertheless, it wasn't a perfect season for him by any stretch of the imagination. And Joe has had a history of throwing pick sixes in his NFL career. So basically what I'm saying is we just can't give him like $20 million or, just anything that he wants. The alt plan, my alt plan, not everybody will agree with it. In fact, most people will disagree. We do have a quarterback that has 2 years of experience in the Stefanski system, 2 training camps, I should say, that we wound up trading him both years. That would be Joshua Dobbs, who was traded for a 5th-round pick from Arizona last year when Kyler Murray wound up with an ACL. And he did very well in Arizona, which is not a good offensive football team. Then when Kyler Murray came back and then Kirk Cousins had an ACL, he got traded to Minnesota and did well over there too. Overall, he had a 62.8% completion percentage. He had a 13-10 touchdown to interception ratio. That's not really fantastic, but he also added 6 touchdowns on the ground. So he was a running quarterback for sure. And he's still improving. That was really the first consistent game action that he had as a starter in the NFL. He's still getting better. Joe Flacco, on the other hand, for the Browns, had a 60.3% completion percentage, about the same as Dobbs. 13-8 touchdown interception ratio. Both of those were very high percentage-wise because he didn't play as many games as Dobbs. But they're high touchdown percentage, but also high interception percentage. He did not gain any touchdowns on the ground. I don't think he's really going to be much of a runner at this point in his career. At age 39, with some injury history, Flacco is probably not going to, how shall I say this? His development is complete. We'll put it that way. I think that it will help him if he has a full training camp with the team. It will help the team if they have a training camp with Joe Flacco. I think some of the young receivers will learn a lot from him. The quote-unquote coach on the field that has a certain amount of merit when they have an experienced quarterback that they're catching passes from. I would say Dobbs has a better chance of making it through a 17-game season if he's called upon to do that, and plus the playoffs. Backup quarterback may not play 17 games, though. That's a point, too. Joshua Dobbs has had a tremendous commitment to volunteer work and has given back in a number of ways. He has contributed to causes including the Boys and Girls Club, the Children's Home of Pittsburgh. Remember, he was the backup quarterback at Pittsburgh for many years. Also, the Lemieux Family Center. I think that's the Mario Lemieux Family Center. The Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh, East Tennessee Children's Hospital. He played college ball at Tennessee. The Emerald Youth Foundation, Girls Inc. of Tennessee Valley, Horizons National, Knoxville Honor Air, Pittsburgh Police Junior Chess Club, Strength of Champions and Wounded Warrior Project. He's a national spokesperson for the National Alopecia Areata Foundation. And that alopecia is a disease where the person does not have any hair on their body. And I thought it was just his style because, I think he's a very handsome young man, but it turns out that he actually has a genetic condition that prevents hair from growing on his face or on his body. And he's really helped young people gain self-esteem, who have this condition, showed them that they can go on to have very, very successful lives. His foundation is called Extraordinary Dobbs Foundation. He was a aeronautical engineer major in Tennessee, and I believe he had a 4.0 average, which is not easy to do. He's a really brilliant young man. I've always said you can have the quarterback with the best arm, and I'll take the quarterback with the best brain, and I'll beat your brains out every time. My team will win over yours. I truly believe that, and I think that this man is a winner, and I'd be very pleased to have him as a backup quarterback on any NFL team. Okay, let's take a commercial break. On many of these platforms, it'll be just a few seconds. On others, it'll be a few minutes for commercial sponsors to do their thing. Thank you, Johnny Cleveland, for lining this up for us, and also Fans First Sports Network. Thank you, by the way, to Freesound Music for providing the music on our show. And thank you to everybody that has subscribed on the different platforms that carry our programs. And so I'll pause for somewhere between a few seconds and a few minutes at this time. And we are back. Let's talk about almost everybody's plan is to keep Dorian Thompson-Robinson, the rookie, the 5th-round draft pick from last year. He beat out Joshua Dobbs as the number 2 quarterback last season after one summer camp. And he got a start against Pittsburgh and beat the Steelers as a rookie. And that's never easy. Baker Mayfield might have done that. I'm not sure. Can't quite remember that. But it's not very many people, not very many quarterbacks have beaten the Steelers as a rookie. So that's quite an accomplishment. On the one hand, only the Browns would promote a 5th-round draft pick to 2nd string after one impressive training camp. And then on the other hand, only Browns fans would consider giving up on a quarterback after his rookie year. So I think that the common sense would be that he's going to be on the team for 2024 and beyond. He doesn't have to necessarily be the number 2 guy. It wouldn't hurt him a bit to sit behind some veteran help like Flacco or like Joshua Dobbs. Look at the Green Bay quarterbacks that had to sit for a few years before they got to play. Brett Favre did not play his first year. Aaron Rodgers did not play his first year. And neither did Jordan Love. That has not hurt them in the least to see how the quarterback behaves and how he functions. I think if Baker Mayfield had had the chance to sit behind Tyrod Taylor, it might have helped him a lot. I think what his problems in Cleveland were that he didn't really know how to get along with the coaches and with the star receivers on the team. It was not due to a lack of ability. And so I kind of regret that he did not have a better role model to watch for his first year. Had he done so, I think he might still be the quarterback today. So I'll just point that out. We're not going to give up on a rookie quarterback after a rookie year in which he beats the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's not going to happen. Thank you. We're also going to have, I hope, hello, Andrew. I hope we're going to have a practice squad dude, or maybe 2 or 3. Jeff Driscoll was picked up at the end of the year. I always liked Jeff, and in fact, I suggested last October that he would be a guy that would be worth considering for our team. He is a combine freak. He has good size, 6'4", 238, and he also runs fast. He was 4.56 at the combine. That was like 8 years ago. He's probably a little slower than that now. He's 31 years old, but he's never had major injury, so he could be considered a low-mileage guy. And he never has had a chance to play on a good offensive team. So we really don't know, even at age 31, what he can do. He has not had very many repetitions at the NFL level. He started one game for the Browns at the end of the last year with 1 week of preparation. We got to quit doing that, Andrew. We got to quit doing that. Let's sign some guys in advance and get them trained up and practiced up so we don't have to do this 1 week of preparation stuff. This is a bad habit. And yeah, Flacco might have lulled us into thinking that everybody can do that, but this is not the case. But anyway, Jeff did a terrible job in the first half, but in the second half, he came around and actually threw 2 touchdown passes, and he started to figure some things out. I think he can play football. Certainly for an emergency quarterback, he's pretty good. It's just really stupid to not train up extra quarterbacks. In this 17-game era, it's too much to expect one quarterback to be able to carry the load and never get injured. That's just not realistic. You're going to have extra quarterbacks. You need to have more than 2. You need to have at least 3. And having a guy, what harm is it to have a guy on the practice squad that plays quarterback? You know, it used to be that there was only like 6 or 8 guys on a practice squad. Now there's 16. So use one of those extra slots on a quarterback. This is a no-brainer. It's stupid to not train up an extra quarterback, the most important position on the field. And the Browns don't train up somebody in case of an emergency. They had 2 emergencies that they were unable to respond to, really. They were lucky that they were able to win some games. It was great that they had PJ Walker was able to come in and do a good job on short notice. In fact, I should have a slide up here for PJ. I hope that he's invited back to training camp this season. He did a pretty good job. He did not put up great numbers, but he played well for Carolina for a couple seasons. That's not easy to do because Carolina is a terrible offensive team. And under the circumstances, I think PJ did a pretty good job also. So he could be a candidate to appear on the practice squad as well. And he could be as high as number 2, depending on who the Browns sign or don't sign this offseason. Okay, so yeah, I said this last year. I said, man, we're short of quarterbacks. Let's go sign somebody, please. Did we sign anybody? No. All right, let's talk about the summary. So yes to Flacco, we should make him an offer, but no, we're not going to give him everything that he wants and throw unlimited resources at him. The Browns do have a tight cap this year. We do not have unlimited money for him. So I think they also need to make an offer to Joshua Dobbs and see who's going to come in at a reasonable rate. If Dobbs is substantially lower than Flacco, maybe they will go with Dobbs instead of Flacco. No, we are not going to cut Dorian Thompson-Robinson no matter what. He has done nothing to suggest that he's not going to develop into a good quarterback. But Deshaun and Flacco and Dobbs, for that matter, are right now. And DTR is a year or 2 away. Yes, we are concerned about Deshaun Watson's durability, and that just underscores the point that we need to have 3 quarterbacks on the roster. But we're not, at least I am not, questioning the first-string status of Deshaun Watson. He is the first-string quarterback, like it or not. He may or may not be a superstar, but he is the first-string quarterback, period. Yes, we are looking for a practice squad dude. We'll take Jeff Driscoll. I think he's a very good candidate. And there are others that may be available, and we'll look at those too. And there may be some other guys that could be considered at roster cutdown time. Yes, we should sign an undrafted free agent quarterback or 2 for training camp. These kind of guys are people that you need to have in order to have a decent training camp. And they may wind up being cut, but nevertheless, they could stay in shape and be ready in case they get the call. Maybe there'll be a December game or something where we're short of a quarterback and we need somebody who knows the offense. And it could be one of these training camp guys. Stranger things have been known to happen. About once every 3 years, you need to have a fourth string quarterback at least appear on the roster, if not actually in a game. So that's what I see. I think that the Browns will make an offer to Joe Flacco, but he is not the only candidate to be the second string quarterback this year. If he gets a chance to compete for a number one job somewhere, the Browns may not be able to match that offer, or some team may be willing to give him like $8-9 million to be their backup, and the Browns may not really actually want to afford that. If Joshua Dobbs comes in at like $3 or $4 million, they may have to take that. So I think it depends a lot on finances. It's not the only thing that they'll look at, but it is one of the things that they will have to look at. They can't just say that we're going to go sign Joe Flacco regardless of cost. That's where you get into trouble in the salary cap era, when you start throwing around terms or philosophies like regardless of cost. That doesn't make any sense. You have to be cost conscious, set a value on a player. How much is he actually worth to our team, and stick to that. And I think that Flacco earned like $2 million last season, and maybe you might want to go up to like 4, maybe 5. But if Dobbs is available at that rate and Flacco wants to go much higher than that, I think you have to strongly consider going with Dobbs instead. There are other positions that need to be filled, and you may have to take a 50% cost savings if it's available. I think you have to be cost conscious for the second string quarterback position. And you still have DTR on contract, and I think that practice squad dude might become important during the year as well. So we'll see how that works. Later, we're going to talk about another source of talent that's really been neglected this year, the United Football League. Over the years, the minor leagues of football have provided something around 100 NFL contracts, including 2 Pro Bowlers. And we don't even talk about that. We talk about the NFL draft. We talk about NFL free agents, but we don't talk about the UFL as a source of NFL talent. I think that's a mistake. We're going to take a look at those players in an upcoming show, as well as the NFL draft and free agency. And I'll tell you what, the NFL is a gift that keeps on giving. The offseason is just as interesting as the regular season. So we'll talk again soon. Take care, everybody. God bless. Go Browns.